Hello, Sagarbhai. We are finally over with the Checkmate India versus USA match, and here
we
it
are
was
right
the location.
outside the venue of the event, the Arlington Esports Center here. And the tournament is over. I think it's close to 1.5 days now. But we are staying here because we are going to go to Kasparov versus Anand in St. Louis tomorrow. So we thought we'll stay here for a couple of days. Maybe it's a good time to talk about the match. I wanted to actually create recaps of each game, but we haven't yet received the video footage. So it's maybe a good idea to do a recap video. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. But before we go to the games, tell us about your thoughts, like how it panned out for you. Tell us about your preparation. Who all were helping you, your team?
Actually, I made a post on Instagram talking about it. I think I worked seriously for 15 days or so, maybe 20 days to be precise, very serious. Before that, I was doing a few things, but for 20 days, it was like this became the priority. So played 2 rapid events. There is a Avetic Gregorian, who is a very well-known trainer, but also a very good friend. He said that he would be happy to help me in this. So I actually took some help from him. He did a couple of training sessions with me. Amruta helped me a lot, which is I think obvious because she likes chess and we have worked together. We also, I had 3 training partners who came to Temple of Chess, Soumya, Vedant Panesar and Anirudh Potawad, and played with them. I thought they were kind of, maybe some were stronger than Levy, some were slightly weaker, or maybe equal strength as Levy. So this was one of the ideas to get more playing practice. And then I think overall there were a few other things that I did. I was just in chess. Vidit helped me actually one day just for an hour or so, but it was very valuable because he told me like, take this direction in this opening, take that direction, and from someone who has kind of learnt all the openings for so many years, it was very useful. So when I came here, I was feeling very excited because when you work on something dedicatedly, you want to then, there's no longer that nervousness because you've done your best, so now you just want to go and play. And so that was the way in which it happened. When I came here, I realized that actually this event is way different from what I had in my mind, because it was something that was meant to be a spectacle for the viewers. And while I knew that there will be viewers and so on, the fact that we could actually speak with our opponent in between the game, the crowd could cheer loudly as possible. All of this, actually 2 days before the event, I started to think about this very seriously. And so there was one specific session we had with Divya and Harshit. I think it was on the day of the match, where they put music and started trash talking me, saying that you are so weak, you can't find a move, and we were solving tactics and I had to find the move. So that was also good training actually, because they were like, so weak, you are so weak, and anyway, both of them are lovely trash talkers. So it was nice. So this was also a part of it. When the event began, it was very beautifully done. I think the venue was amazing. The entry of the players was fantastic. I loved the guy who was calling out the name. I want to learn it from him. He was like, 2800 rating, the one and only Arjun Erigaisi. And he said it so well. I was like, this is the way in which players have to be, invited in. And then the players would walk, and then there were these fans who would give them high fives, and also that was a nice touch. I thought it was beautiful. Hikaru came in the
that
US
was a
flag.
very, very nice touch, and it looked larger than life, right? These players should be celebrated, and that's what happened there.
Fabi came running, Hikaru came in this, it was very nice. I think that was a great touch. The national anthem was a very nice touch that gave that kind of narrative that India is taking on USA, made it very strong there. Actually, when the games began, first game, I didn't realize like it's so quickly going to unfold, you know, back to back. Like Arjun and Karuan are playing and it's already game 1. And to tell you the truth, if there's one player whom I have immense trust in when it's shorter format, it's Arjun. But it's a little bit unfortunate that Arjun was facing Fabi, who is in maybe one of the best forms of his life, winning the Grand Chess Tour. Because if you look at the game, the way it went, Arjun got a big advantage. Fabi went c3, move 1, and then Arjun, and you know, we were all sitting together in a dugout, like the entire team, and we would see on one screen and discuss. And Gukesh was, of course, the guy who had all the insights. So he was saying, yeah, great position out of the opening. He has the advantage now. The structure is really good. And I think Arjun should have played c5 at some time when he had this b6 structure, but he was a bit hesitant. And Fabi played f4. Arjun played f5 at some point. And I think Arjun played f5 first. Fabi went f4. And it was quite unfortunate that Arjun jumped with the knight to e4. Because when he did that, knight takes knight, and now you can't take with the d pawn, the rook is hanging, so you have to take with the f pawn. Fabi got g4, and I think at this point we started getting worried. We were like, okay, it seems like this is trouble. And when Arjun came rook h3, we again got very excited. We were like, okay, this e3 is hanging now. But Fabi was so good, he played queen c2, if rook e3, rook d5 with queen c8 check coming in if you take the rook. So I think it was great game by Fabi, and he won the first. He drew the first blood, but I mean, you know, it was nice to see how Gukesh was motivating Ethan, who was going to go next, and he said, "Come on, you can do it." Arjun came back. He was very calm, like he's always. So we sat again, and then Ethan started playing. At this point, he took on Tani, and this was, I think, a very nice game. One of the things that I saw about Ethan was that when Arjun and Gukesh and Divya, like they were predicting the moves, Ethan was making many of those moves.
Oh.
So it's very nice to see like how strong this boy is. And very soon the position became crazy with Ethan's king coming to f5. And the nice thing is the position was still equal. And that was amazing because Ethan actually, the key moment actually even before that was that Ethan could have made a draw. He saw it.
Yes.
He could have played knight g7, queen f4, knight h5 and repeated with the queen going back and knight going back and forth. But he said that he thought like, oh, Arjun has lost the first game, he must win. But okay, the format is different. A draw is not a draw here. You can actually go to a 5-minute game.
But was this clear to all the players? That,
they knew it. But in the heat of the moment, you sometimes forget. And maybe Ethan also thought his position is good enough to try. And I think it was a good attempt. But Tani was like, had nerves of steel. Yeah, like he played these amazing moves. And when pawn came to c5, he found rook b6, very strong move, and just completely managed to crush. And then in the end, when he had a queen versus Ethan's 2 knights, I thought like some fork will come and Ethan will somehow trick him, but Tani was perfect. So 2-0. And I think this is where things became a bit shaky because, you know, Divya, of course, she's super confident and maybe I would say slightly stronger player than Carissa. But when you have 2-0 down and black pieces, I think it was a tough situation for her because it's a must win now. And I think she played this opening where maybe she didn't have the most experience because she took, like when Carissa played this opening, she should have taken on c3 and taken on e4, it's theory. But Divya made this one move, she made just normal move and Carissa was like all over her. Like she took on c6, e5, knight e4, bishop g5. And
the bishop g5 was beautiful.
Beautiful. And bishop d8, trapping the knight on a7, c7. Like brilliant game. And in the end, we got so excited because we were like, okay, this is lost. We had lost all hope. But Divya started to fight back. And she managed to create some counter play. And we were like, only if she would win this, we would have a chance again, you know, to win. And okay, but I think when I saw it through the engine, she was never really back. It was just that feeling, you know, you have this hope against hope that something will happen. So that was 3-0. And we had already lost the match by then, and there was this halfway mark. I also liked this, by the way, end where Carissa sort of picked up the king and did this.
Yes.
And
Sagarbhai, just to stop you here and ask that both Arjun and Divya, they were very low on time, like in a couple of positions. And do you think it was a strategy by the US team, because they are far more experienced than the entire Indian team, that to, like even Levy mentioned in the interview, that to take you to the end game, to the like time pressure situation, and then like leash out. So like Fabi actually they were like sitting, like Carissa you can see like was sitting for like 3-4 minutes in a 10-minute game. So was this a strategy that you think played out for them?
Yeah, in general, like what I realized is that in this time format, you can't be like 3-4 minutes below your opponent.
Yes.
It's very dangerous, because when you do that, the time, because there's no increment, there's only 1 second increment at the end at 1 minute, you can just lose. Any person can lose a game. It's not like me or someone who's inexperienced or not in touch, but even the best players can lose. So I think somehow the US team was more had this in their mind, but also I think maybe sometimes it's just a position thing, and also the match situation and all of it which plays. So with Divya, perhaps there was too much pressure.
Yeah, but you on the other hand, when you came to play the fourth game, you had the time advantage actually.
Yeah, I was very clear that there was one thing I could not do, was to go below Levy's time, because I think when it comes to chess strength, perhaps we can match each other, but when it comes to time, he's clearly better. Like I was seeing that if you take online ratings, he's so much higher, like 2800 on chess.com, which is like insane, and that shows that when it comes low on time, he can play super well. So that is something I cannot afford. It was very clear to me. So when the game began, first game, he played f4 first move, and I was very surprised, because you know he plays so many different stuff and I had prepared, but f4 was something I didn't expect. I think opening was normal. I played knight e4, which was a mistake, and Levy got a very good position. I believe that if the match situation was not 3-0 in their favor, he would not have repeated. He would have played on, because he was clearly better. Maybe the game would have gone cd5, queen b3, ab3, cd5, and yes, black is slightly worse, white is better, but okay, you play on. But it was a draw, which was nice, because it was the first time the claim button was hit. We must definitely give kudos to the organizer for introducing this new clock.
Yes.
Because this clock is something that was made with a lot of effort, and especially with Tag Heuer coming in as their official timekeeper, to have this was, I think, very valuable, because now in future you can get more sponsors on the clock, which was never existent. So I think a really big shout out to the organizers for thinking about this element, and one can see that the amount of effort going in this small innovation is huge. You need to make the research, you need to build it, you need to figure out this increment at 1 minute, like all of this takes a lot of time, effort and energy and money. So amazing.
How was your experience playing on that clock? Because we saw Gukesh's muscle memory kicking, and he was like pressing on the clock and not on the button.
Yeah, it was slightly different, but I got used to it. I liked it actually. It was not bad pressing the button, and I used to like press it really hard. At least that was how, because I didn't want to miss it. So it was fine. Second game, I think I played really well. He played Scotch, and I somehow found all the best moves till a point, which was, I think, quite nice. Also, I kept a lead on the clock. I had like a minute extra perhaps at some point, and at some moment I could have won the game if I had found this move bishop c7. When he takes it, I take on f3, and I have an extra pawn and this attack. but at that point I had less time, and he was observant. But actually, to tell you this, I think in the end we reached a point where I had 6 seconds, he had 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think he would have flagged, because even someone really quick cannot handle 2 seconds in this format. So I pushed the pawn to d2 and pressed the clock, and the pawn came back, which is unfortunate because it just moved like, the board was smooth and came back. And then I pushed it back, and the arbiter was very quick to give 15 seconds, which is correct, perhaps the decision, because you cannot adjust opponent's pieces or your pieces in opponent's time. So that I completely lost, I was like, okay, now it's gone. I'm at 6 seconds and he has 17 seconds. So I made one blunder after another.
So there was no claim from Levy?
No.
So it was the arbiter's decision?
Actually, Levy told me after the game, why was I given 15 seconds? Because it was, when you play so quickly, you don't realize what has happened.
And it should be a player's claim, right?
Here we were told of the rules that arbiter can do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they had this thing where, generally in a tournament, you have to go to the clock and make this increment.
Yes.
The arbiter. So here, there was an iPad or some other device from where you can manually add the time.
Right.
So in that sense, I think it was it was very different feeling. So that led to a loss. I think then it was 4-0. Gukesh.
And before we go to Gukesh's game, Sagarbhai, you have played chess for most of your life. You have covered chess events. But did you ever imagine that you will go on a stage with a world champion, with only 3 Olympiad gold medalists, and people in the audience would shout, India, India, when you are playing?
Yeah, they were shouting, India, India. Someone was saying
GM Sagar.
Someone was, like, let's go, Sagar, let's go. That was going on, let's go, Levy, let's go. And it was really nice. I think this could very well be the future for chess,
right,
that people are cheering, and it's very interesting for players as well. You can't calculate very deeply, I thought. At least for me, it was tough to focus, but you can get that adrenaline rushing within you and play. I really liked how Levy acted after the game. He was very classy.
Absolutely.
He did this action to me and asked the people to clap for me, which is for me a bit surprising, because the day before, the organizers had told us that, try to do things which can make the event, make the crowd go more wild, or just people can enjoy. So I was expecting him to throw the king, because the thing is, there were 2 chess sets, there were not 5. So the only person who can throw the king is either Levy, me, Gukesh, or Hikaru, because these are the last 2 matches. Or it was even said like you can break the king and stuff like that. So for someone like, at least me, or I think even Gukesh at that point, were thinking like, this is too much to break the king or something, because I think chess is looked at least in India, or for some Indian players, differently, because we grow up looking at chess like it's very, very sacred, something which you can even see like cricketers. Many of the cricketers have this bat and ball and pads and so on, and they really take care of it like it's providing them a source of livelihood. And I remember that Gukesh once told me, I asked him like, why does he do this every time on the board? And he said like, it's because chess has given him so much, and he should always respect the board. This is something that his first coach taught him. But I think in general, it need not be looked at that way by everyone, right? Like someone can look at it as just pieces and board, which is meant to create a sport, and it doesn't have any other significance. And that's how perhaps also some players look at it. And so when you throw the king, which Hikaru did, one can look at it as, oh, this disrespect to the opponent and so on, disrespect to chess, but also could be looked at as just celebration of the moment. And one very important thing here is that it didn't come as a shock to anyone in the team. because it was already spoken about in the dinner previous day. People were told like celebrate, do stuff which can be very interesting. I don't know how we would have celebrated. In fact, we were thinking if we won, what kind of move we should make. We didn't pay much attention to it, but yeah, the idea was you should celebrate the victory. You should create that kind of atmosphere. So in that respect, the most viral moment of this tournament was definitely Hikaru's king throw. I think I didn't find it any surprising that happened, especially with all the back context I had. And also, I don't think the crowd found it in any way different. I met like at least 100 to 150 people after the match. I asked everyone like, how did you enjoy? Like just randomly, and everyone was so happy. No one said like, why was the king thrown or something like this. So yeah, I think it was understood in the right sense, but maybe when you look at it online, you don't get that feel of that moment. You don't get the that this is an exhibition match. It's after all, it's Gukesh, the world champion, and Hikaru, world number 2. So these are few things which are maybe put out of context in that sense. But Gukesh played insanely well.
Yeah, before we come to Gukesh, Gukesh and Hikaru's game, the final game, tell us what was going on. What was the discussion going on in the dugout? Like yeah, you were like everybody was following your game, and they were like predicting moves also, and you were making some of the moves. And then when you came back, and it was like Gukesh, like we have followed in cricket, like it's the last batsman. You cannot win the match, but at least hit some sixes and come back. So Gukesh's game was like at all stake. If Gukesh wins, that would be a huge win.
Yeah, I think in general, if one win we would have got, it would have been nice.
Yeah.
So when I came back and Gukesh was going in, the only thing that was on the mind was like, Gukesh, you can, win this game and get that 1 point, which is nice. And he was also very pumped. Actually, when we lost the match after the third game, I think Gukesh and Arjun and Divya and all were like being professional players, not feeling so well. But I think in their mind, they were already thinking that we'll beat them in the next return or in the Olympiad or, stuff like this, which is always something that goes on in the minds of professional players. So when Gukesh went, I think it was very exciting. It was like it was not, at least for me, it was not just part of the match, but it was also Gukesh versus Hikaru, who will win. And Hikaru played very carefully with white first game, made a draw. Also, I think somewhere the idea was, let's make the match more exciting, bring it to shorter time control, and maybe he will be able to outwit Gukesh. Then next game, Gukesh was, I think, winning in that bishop end game. He played really well. There was a very interesting moment chess-wise where Hikaru goes bishop a7, and your instinct is just to push the pawn to b5, opening up the bishop's path. But if you play bishop c5, now the king is coming to e5, so you have to go bishop b8. And then you go bishop d6, again king is coming to e5, so you go bishop a7, attacking b6, and bishop c7, and it's over. It's beautiful line, and also shows the importance of kind of dominating the opponent's piece. But yeah, Gukesh did not play that with very little time, and then Hikaru got a draw. And then we went into the last game, 1+1. Basically, if draws happen, 1+1, 1+1 is played. And I think Gukesh played really well. To play Hikaru in 1+1 is not easy. Gukesh got a huge position, a great position. Then he blundered. Then he was losing. Then he got a winning chance. And then in the end, this mate in 1 was missed. I think that position was drawn actually, that final position, if he didn't go king f8, which is difficult to see because so much, it's 3-4 seconds, queen g7. So he played king f8, queen d8, and I think Hikaru just at that moment made this, took the king and threw it. And I think that is how the match will be remembered for that moment, I think. But also we must remember that Team America played really well. 5-0 victory for them. Match could have been closer, could have gone, some games could have gone the other way. But I do think that having the white pieces is some advantage. So that is something to be proven if the return leg happens. We did speak with the organizers about it. They are keen to do it somewhere next year in the first half of the year in India. So that will be very exciting if that happens. Very interesting format, very interesting thing. I think it's very clear that the focus is not on the moves per se. The focus of this event is on the emotions, on the atmosphere, on all these things.
When you mentioned that you trained with Vedant, like Soumya and Vidit, and then Amruta was helping you.
Also, I must add, I was helped by Gukesh here, who played with me, who actually went through my opening repertoire, telling me certain things.
Oh wow!
Also, Arjun solved tactics with me, where I realized I am such a noob is too much to say, but slow. I want to give, sorry to interrupt you, I want to give this one position to the viewers. This is black to play and solve. What do? Try to pause and come up, and you will see the genius of Arjun. So the way it happened is, we were solving this position. I said I got it quite quickly, like 30 seconds. Arjun was eating. He had got the answer in 5 seconds or so, something.
While eating?
Actually, we were walking.
Okay.
And he got it in like 5 seconds. I showed him the position and he was like, okay, got it. So I was like, okay. My answer was Queen D4 there. And Arjun said, no, Queen D6 is the answer. I was like, what? Why? And he's like, Queen D4, Queen at 7, King at 7, Knight F8, check. And then your Queen is hanging. And I said, okay, how did you even calculate one line, saw its refutation, and then found the right move? For me, I just saw that move and I thought it's right. I couldn't even do it. And that just convinced me that these players are so good. It's actually inspiring for me, because generally you don't get to see the difference between you and a top player so clearly. You never get that opportunity, right? So now I get to see, like, okay, I'm around 2400, he's 2800. What's the difference? This is the difference. In every single department, he's better. So that motivates me to work harder in chess. And Divya played with me practice games, which was nice, because she is right now so confident the way she's playing. So these all three of them helped me a lot.
Right, and you mentioned about Arjun's tactical ability, but I believe, yes, all the credits to the top players, to Arjun, but there's also a difference that they live, breathe these tactics, that's what they're doing in and out. Do you think that if you take out time 1 year or 6 months, and you can also reach a level where you can start like playing chess again professionally?
I think you can basically remove all the rust that is there on you. Like I think if, let's say, I'm like a pipe that brings water, and this water means like you're producing good moves. My pipe is filled with rust completely, totally, and this 20 days was all about removing rust from it. So I actually, maybe somewhere I have reached closer to my strength which existed. Not that I've gotten better than what I was before, but if you live this thing every day, you keep getting better. The rust goes off, everything is working smoothly. I personally think that my approach to chess is so much different. One of the things that I definitely am very consciously trying is not to get upset when I lose, because it's a very well accepted fact that when you lose, you can be upset in chess, and you see it everywhere. You see top players, you see Magnus, you see Gukesh, you see everyone being upset, and it feels like it's the right way, it's just the only way. But imagine that you take a loss as something that's good that has happened to you, because it helps you learn new things, improve. So it doesn't really, you don't just act, but from within you don't feel the hurt or something, and you improve not because you lost, but because you are just, improvement is so inherent in you. And so this is the state that I'm trying to achieve. So in that sense, I feel the amount of friction that I have within me while working on chess is lesser. So this time I feel like if I do want to continue my chess journey, it is a realistic thing. Earlier it felt like if I do chess, I can't do anything else. I can't work for ChessBase India or anything, because it's not just about the time dedication here, but it's also the emotional investment. If I lose, I definitely have no interest at the end of the day to go and talk to my team members and so on. But now that's not the case. I actually feel quite normal. At least that's how I look at it. So I'm interested in trying out, maybe playing some tournaments. Don't know which one would it be. But as I said, like, I should practice. So today morning I did play 4 or 5 games more online.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I also am started solving more.
Okay.
So it's not like I want to stop here. I want to continue.
So Sagarbhai, I am sure that there are thousands and thousands of players who will be motivated with what you did here, because there are so many players who reached a point and they left chess, right? And there's always something in their mind that they want to make a comeback, they want to play, they want to get in the habit of playing more. Like, I think you enjoyed the last 15 days a lot, right?
A lot.
And that's something so many players want to do, right? What we saw in the pandemic, that so many players came back. They said that we used to play in the childhood, we don't get to play anymore. They get to play online, but playing OTB is something different, right?
Yeah.
So what 3 tips would you give anybody?
There's only
one tip. Okay.
There's only one tip that is there, and I think that should be good enough for everyone to come back, is to be ready to take losses well. Once you do that, and it's actually not so simple, because you have years and years of this feeling of sadness inside you when you lose. You need to get rid of it and go to a tournament without really taking loss as loss. Then there is no reason why you can't play. You can go tomorrow and play your nearby local event, because you will not say I'm not well prepared. You will actually go, you will lose games, and that will spur your preparation so much. And I think the losses then become a boon, because the moment you lose, you're like, oh, I could have played this better, this could be. So like from my loss against Levy, the only thing that is right now I'm thinking about is, why did I actually, when I got a pawn up position, why did I start playing a little differently? And I think there's a pattern within me where when I'm winning, I get more conscious or more conservative about the position. So now it's time to break that pattern. And so losses are amazing in that sense.
So you completely restructure your things, that don't like tactics, practice games, everything is fine, but taking the loss is the most important thing.
Just take the loss well, so that then you can invite practice game players to your place, or you can go somewhere. So like today, I remember I used to hate playing games, just friendly games just like that. When someone would say, hey, look, Gukesh is here, Sagar is here, do you want to play one game? And I would be like, no. Why? Because at the end of the day, I thought I would lose. Even losing to a world champion was something I felt could hurt me there. So now I think it's much easier. I want to play against people. I want to learn from that experience. Yeah.
That's really deep. That's amazing. Because I am sure that your story, what you did here, right here, we want to show just a camera pan that how beautiful this place is. We have been walking.
I loved this place. We started from there. We walked like the entire circle, and we've reached here. So I think overall this Checkmate tournament got over. I know that fans back home are a little bit upset that India lost 5-0. In fact, when I look at it through a lens of a fan, I would also be like, okay, India losing 5-0 to USA is not a great result. But I hope that this kind of recap puts things in perspective, that it was not like just one-way stream, and that it mattered a lot to players like Gukesh, Arjun, Ethan, Divya. And maybe for me, it's more like a great experience to do this, and hopefully we will make a comeback in the return match. Thank you. I think that was kind of a good summary. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Sagarbhai, for sharing those important tips. And I'm sure that so many people will be motivated. And there was a lot of confusion going on also online, that what happened, how it happened. I think this video explains a lot.
My thoughts are just that it's also my feeling, and this is just my feeling. I feel like Hikaru has, I think, great respect for Gukesh or Indian chess. I've always seen this happening. It's like whether Gukesh is the strongest player in the world is always in contention, because his rating is not the highest, he has not won all the tournaments, but there is no, I think, doubt in the minds of people that what he achieved in 2024 with candidates, Olympiad and World Championship is amazing. And I've seen right from Magnus to Hikaru, everyone acknowledging this fact. And when such things happen, it's easy to put it in this kind of narrative that they're trying to pull down Gukesh, but I think it's not the entire truth. The entire truth is that Gukesh is on this journey which is tough,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
become the best player in the world. There's huge competition.
Yes.
And this is something that's coming to him at a rapid pace more than anyone else, because he achieved the world title.
Right.
Even I think Nodirbek or Prag or Arjun will be facing this in some measure, but but they have not become the world champions, right? So they will maybe when they will reach there, I'm pretty sure things will be pointed at them as well. So yeah, I'm not of this mindset that there is some kind of bad blood or ill motive or anything of that sort that exists between these players.
Right. Thank you, Sagarbhai, once again for sharing a wonderful recap. And if you have any comments, please let us know in the comments and your thoughts about how you enjoyed the
Also,
game.
I think kudos to Aditya for covering this event along with Harshil, who is here. I hope you enjoyed the coverage. He worked really hard. In fact, I think hardly slept to bring forth the coverage. And we will be back again in 2 days in St. Louis for Anand Kasparov. Bye bye.